Hello and welcome. I'm Jessie Ray and this is Chiron's Key Tarot. So grateful to have you join me today for this reading. This reading is going to be a collective reading for the full moon that is happening November 27th, which is a Monday, and it's happening in the sign of Gemini. So Gemini is changeable, mutable energy, and I do expect a lot of changes, sudden changes, and feeling like we've got to make some decisions around the time of this full moon. Full moons are also about completion. So if you follow the lunation cycles, anything that you set back about 6 months ago when the new moon in Gemini was taking place, any of those intentions that you are setting, you should start to see some completion of those energies around this time. I do want to read the Sabian symbol and then we will jump into the tarot cards. So this is Gemini 5, a radical magazine. This symbol speaks to the dramatic changes that can occur in life with the arrival of unexpected things or events that are needed for a deepening of understanding or for learning a valuable lesson through some new experience. This symbol also points to the tendency of individuals to exalt whatever they have found significant and meaningful in their lives, perhaps through some memorable event that left an emotional imprint. The image of a radical magazine refers to a periodical that expresses extreme viewpoints or contains statements that depart considerably from the average or traditional point of view. And it dramatizes the desires of individuals to assert themselves and make their marks on life in ways that will announce to others who they are and what they value. On a practical level, this symbol is exemplified in the use of nicknames, the endowment of scholarships, bumper stickers on cars, personal logos, editorials, personal essays, and it's positive, and at its highest, this symbol represents a personal distinctiveness that leaves the individual's trademark on everything he touches. And the negative is the perverse pleasure in offending others or destroying those things and ideas that they hold dear. So the opportunity is your greatest advantage lies in daring to be yourself and do it your way, but guard against attacking the foundation and belief systems of others, and don't be insensitive to the rights of others to form their own opinions and have their own value systems. So I'm going to pull some tarot now, kind of see where we're going with this, but it's really been feeling kind of like there's going to be some decisions, and we might even feel kind of an impulse to make quick decisions. And even in the face of having to make sudden decisions, there's almost kind of like a groundedness energy that we need to kind of approach with too. Okay, well, the sun, well, that's good. So I'm hoping for some positivity with this as well. And really being ourselves, right? High Priestess, okay. Really daring to just be who you are in the face of opposition, right? We don't always fit in with the crowds that we might find ourselves in. We might not always fit in at work. But when we disown ourselves, there's a real sense of, that emotional fulfillment not being able to happen, right? And disowning ourselves and who we really are is really kind of damaging. 6. Okay, there we go. What is the undercard? 9 of Cups. So I feel like there's going to be some fulfillment around this time. That's kind of like the undercurrent of this message. And with the sun coming out, that gives me a lot of hope. So far we have got the sun. We have got the High Priestess. We have got the Lovers. We've got the Page of Cups. The 10 of Cups. 7 of Swords. That seems very appropriate. The Knight of Swords, wanting to take quick action. And the 6 of Wands. Really feeling celebrated. So there's a lot of punchy energy that's been in the skies recently, if you follow any astrology reports. And I want to say that there is, despite all of the punchy energy out there with the Sun card coming out, it really tells me that some of these things that are happening, some of these things that are coming to fruition around the time of this new moon, I feel like there's been challenges leading up to this, but at the same time, I feel like we're starting to see the sun and really going back to being yourself, right? Being really authentic. When we disown ourselves, it really does a lot of damage to ourselves. So really being authentic and showing up as you are. And if somebody doesn't appreciate you for that, that's okay. You know, it takes all kinds to make this world go round. Really stay with that sun. Really stay with what brings you joy, brings you fulfillment. You know, when you're out in the world and you're sitting on a beautiful beach and that sun is shining on you just enough to where it just feels so good, right? And it just warms you up. Really follow the things that you feel in life lead you there. That's the 10 of Cups energy as well as the 9 of Cups energy. And the 9 of Cups is the undercurrent of this reading. And I'm really feeling that sticking to our guns around that, and kind of has that Sabian symbol was saying, but don't take away from others. You know, if they have a different point of view, if they're doing their own thing, that's okay. You know, it takes all kinds to make this world go round. And with the High Priestess, really listening to our own inner knowing and our own inner guidance, and realizing that we came down here with what we love so that we can share it with the world, okay? And really being in harmony with that really leads to more beautiful opportunities. And with the Lovers here, this is all about choices. I mean, yes, it can talk about relationships, but it's also the choices we make and how we connect with others. And if you're feeling that connection with somebody, that's great. And if not, that's okay too. And we can just agree to disagree. It's one of my favorite things, is we can just agree to disagree. And to think about how boring it would be if we were all the same, right? It's really kind of been coming up for me a lot in my own personal life, really sticking to my own guns about who I am and not giving myself away to blend in with the crowd, right? And there's really a sense of having ownership around the time of this full moon in Gemini about really owning who you are, okay? And knowing that that is divine. And the people that are meant to come into your world will come into your world. If you are holding that frequency and holding that inner knowing, those people will eventually come in. Page of Cups. I feel like really, you know, honing in on your High Priestess energy, really honing in on your own inner knowing and knowing that you're being divinely guided. I feel like there's going to be some messages that are coming through around this time from Spirit. If you do meditations, take baths, you know, give yourself that space where Spirit can talk to you and really reach out to you. I feel like there's going to be some real big messages coming through, and I really feel a sense of some of those messages bringing this like emotional fulfillment, because now we're going into the 10 of Cups, and really following our own intuition and following our own heart really is kind of leading into that 10 of Cups energy where we're just really feeling fulfilled, right? We're showing up in our best way possible. And it can be, you know, challenging, right? We can, because the 7 of Swords is out here, so that lets me know that for some of us it is a little bit of a mental battle. So I want to jump ahead just for a second here. You know, 7 of Swords can, you know, be trickery and deceit and mental battles and not you know, seeing eye to eye with other people, and then there being like a confrontation around that, which is what that Sabian symbol was also just talking about and kind of guarding against, right? It's okay to disagree. So there's a sense of staying in your own emotional fulfillment and really kind of going with that agreeing to disagree, right? It's okay. Because we can kind of take one of two paths here. It's kind of, and I don't mean it to sound so black and white, there's always a gray area, but they're just kind of showing me this Knight of Swords or like the 6 of Wands. Like, do you want to be fast acting, cutting out and cutting down other people? right? Because they don't agree with you? Or do you want to be cheering people on regardless, right? Like, I know it can be really hard when we don't see eye to eye, when we, have certain things that maybe others are doing that we find morally disagreeable. But that's their soul lesson, right? We're all down here on our own path, evolving at our own rates, having our own experiences. And I have to remind myself too that it's all being divinely guided, right? There's that sense of still being able to hold space for somebody even in that disagreement. So do we still want to wish them well and kind of cheer them on and say, okay, well, that's you do you, boo, I'm going to do me? Or are we going to cut them down with our words and our our ideas, and are we going to kind of bestow what we believe to be true upon them? There's just kind of this energy of, it can be so easy to want to change other people's thoughts, right? It can be so easy to want to be swayed, to be like, no, I want you to agree with me and my beliefs. And around the time of this full moon, there is just a sense of having that understanding and really kind of coming to that agreement within yourself, that when things are disagreeable, in the face of confrontation, in the face of disagreements, how are we going to handle that? Are we going to still be supportive of others even if they disagree? Or are we going to kind of give them a piece of our mind and try to tell them, which way is which? And I feel that allowing people to just be who they are, even if it's in a way different vibe than you and a different resonance, is still going to bring more emotional fulfillment for you in the end, rather than cutting people down and trying to make them believe how you believe. Because you can share your ideas, right? But if somebody's really into their belief system, it's not really up to us or yourself or to change that, right? So there's just a real sense of being able to hold space for everybody. And I'm going to pull an affirmation card, but just go what feels more emotionally fulfilling for you around the time of this new moon. And even though Gemini is a mutable, adaptable sign, it can change its mind and things like that, you might be feeling like, I can change their mind. I can open them up. And it's one thing if somebody's asking for a different perspective versus, you kind of bestowing how you feel upon them, right? Like if somebody's asking for a different viewpoint, kind of like unsolicited advice, like when if you're just like talking to a coworker or a friend and you just need to get something off your chest and they're like, well, try this, try that, try this, try that. If you're not asking for that advice, sometimes it kind of just falls away, right? You're like, no, I just wanted to vent about it. Like I just needed you to just hold space. There's really this kind of energy. And look at this, as the affirmation card, I have compassion. So I have compassion for somebody that doesn't agree with me. I have compassion for people that want to be different from me. I have compassion for myself for being able to hold space in the, face of disagreements or confrontations or arguments or different points of view. So I really feel like being able to hold compassion for yourself and others is going to be a really big theme around the time of this full moon. So I am wishing you guys all the best for this full moon in Gemini, and I will see you guys back here next weekend for the all 12 zodiac sign readings, and I will see you then. Take care.